What is going on, everyone? This is Summer2 here, welcoming you guys to a new update video for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, this morning, which I did oversleep with, which is why this video is going up kind of so late, Pokemon decided to release a new trailer for America and a lot of different individual trailers for Japan regarding some new information about Sun and Moon. Now, I'm going to go through this just step by step. I have a bunch of pictures laid out, and I've also taken the time to really get my thoughts together, so then that way I can explore a couple theories and possibilities that might happen, might not happen, but all in all, of course we have to start with the legendaries. It was announced that the names of the legendaries were, in fact, Solgaleo and Lunala. Now, a couple different things were announced. That Solgaleo, I think it's going to be pronounced. I'm not 100% sure. I have a list down here, so if you see me looking down, that's the reason why. Solgaleo is actually a psychic steel type, which I don't think anyone really saw. I know maybe a couple people online might have said that's a very slim possibility, but Solgaleo is actually a psychic steel type, which is very interesting considering we already have a Jirachi and then Metagross as well as a psychic steel type. Its ability is known as Full Metal Body, which supposedly is just like Clear Body. Now, a couple things when it comes to the ability. Why not just call it Clear Body? I understand you want to make this Pokemon unique, and because it's a legendary, it's on the box art as you do see, but for me it's I'm sick of rotating or reusing the same abilities over and over like that. I mean, if you wanted it to have Clear Body, just call it Clear Body at the end of the day. That's how I feel, and that's kind of the same with Lunala, who has the ability known as Shadow Shield, which is apparently multi-scale, because it has, it lessens damage when it's at full HP, so which is basically multi-scale. So once again, the same thing. I hope that in the future Pokemon doesn't continue doing this kind of trend where they just reuse old abilities with new names. I pray they don't do that, because I feel like they could come up with some really interesting ideas when it comes to abilities such as that, or even just something different. But Lunala is confirmed as a psychic ghost type as well. Kind of skipped over that, which is very interesting. Very interesting. A lot of people were saying Solgaleo was gonna be had to be fire, and had to be fire something. I personally thought it might have been fire electric, fire fairy, something along those lines, which would have been cool. And Solgaleo, I mean, not Solgaleo, Lunala, I was pretty close on. I didn't expect psychic type. I would have much rather preferred dark, if I'm 100% honest with you, which I find really strange, because here we have the cover box art for Pokemon Moon, Lunala, and it's weak to dark. It's 4 times weak to dark, which it's just strange in of itself, but I'm willing to bet there's some reason behind it for the typings and stuff. Don't get me wrong, they're both phenomenal Pokemon. I can't wait to see what their stats are like, what different moves they will learn. Speaking of which, their respective signature moves are known as Sunsteel Strike and Moongeist Beam. Now, when it comes to Sunsteel Strike, I'm willing to bet it's going to be a physical steel attack to some degree, because if you guys see this video, I will put the link in the description. Definitely, just the move looks so powerful. Seriously, I love that move so much. It's going to be incredible to see what actually happens. I mean, if it's a fire type attack, I'm going to be upset. If it's a steel type attack, it should be straight out. And then Moongeist Beam seems like it's going to be a special attack because it is a beam of some kind since it's in the name. Obviously going to be ghost attacks. Hopefully it's just both 2 stab moves for these Pokemon. But the interesting thing about these moves is that with these moves, they attack and do damage regardless of Pokemon's abilities. That's kind of cool. These moves basically have Mold Breaker attached to them. So no matter what happens, you can hit a Pokemon for the exact same damage every single time, regardless of an ability. That's pretty darn powerful. I'm surprised Pokemon hasn't done something like that before, but I mean, it just makes these moves really, really powerful and stupidly broken, in my opinion. But then again, we have to wait until we see, you know, like I said, the stats with Solgaleo and Lunala. But moving on now, let's see. I have all these things laid out. Moving on now, we have the Alola region in a bigger picture. Now, as everyone called it, you know, it does look like Hawaii, yes. The Alola region is, for the most part, based on Hawaii. But something interesting to note is with these multiple islands that are now confirmed, it makes me actually have a couple of questions. Here we see 4 main islands, but as we do see and start looking around, there are little islands off in the distance covered by the clouds. And I'm not saying that this is confirmed, but if you look at the far left, the top left, underneath the clouds, I'm seeing some green under there. I'm willing to bet that's a mainland. I don't know what... I'm not saying that this is confirmed or not, but to me, that... I'm looking at it right now on my screen. That looks like green land, mainland, whatever it could be, off in the distance, hidden by clouds. So to me, that means that soaring through the sky on like a Latios, hopefully new Pokemon is going to return, as well as Mirage Islands. I feel like that has to make a return with so much water. 7.8 out of 10, too much water. Another thing to notice when it comes to this is the middle island that's all white. It looks like a cruise ship. If I'm 100% honest now that I'm looking at this full screen here, it almost looks like a cruise ship, and I'm willing to bet that's the Pokemon League. And I think that would be really cool if you actually had to surf onto a cruise ship to get to the Pokemon League. And it's, instead of going through different rooms, you climb the different tiers of the cruise ship till you get to the top of the cruise ship to battle the champion. That's my personal theory on that, which I think is absolutely extremely cool. I hope that they do something like that. And if I called it, then, you know, props to me, pat on the back. But also, I'm noticing a lot of dark water around the Alola region. So hopefully Dive will make a return in this generation, which would make sense because Pokemon does already have it kind of developed from Oris. And it would be, I'm thinking it would be pretty easy to kind of bring the same programming over, just, you know, just re-skin it with all the new art and stuff. Which, by the way, I have to say, this art that they have going for 7th generation is absolutely phenomenal because it's not polygonal. It doesn't look polygonal whatsoever. It doesn't look just like a regular 3D open space like we saw with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire X and Y. This looks like there is a lot of detail going into this region as far as the background, the mountains, just everything almost looks like it's watercolor. And seriously, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like it's watercolor all around. And props to the artists over at Pokemon, because seriously, it looks absolutely beautiful. And I just, November can't come close soon enough. I swear, November cannot come soon enough. But also, because of the region, the region being so, like, here, I think this is the full Alola region. Hold on, I just dropped my pen. This is the full region that we're looking at, I feel. There might be other islands off in the distance, but I don't feel like they're going to be big main islands like we see here. So a couple of concerns are brought to my attention when looking at this. Sure, Nintendo might reveal more, but to me, I almost feel like they might even go an Orange Islands type of route. And I feel like they might only do potentially 4 gym badges for this. I'm not saying they should, and I'm hoping that they don't, but I'm looking at this, and based off of the in-game footage that we've seen, it looks like we can get around these islands fairly quickly. Fairly quickly, and it just makes me wonder, it's like, are we not going to get as many gym leaders, and where are there spots to encounter wild Pokemon? Another concern with, like I just said, with like where are we going to encounter all these new Pokemon? Are we going to be encountering a lot of new Pokemon in of itself? Like, seriously, I pray that it's not that case, and this is just me just throwing things out there. But if this ends up being like an X and Y thing where we're only introduced to like 80 to 100 new Pokemon, well, actually 100 would be okay because that's Gen 2 over. But if they introduce this to like 70 new Pokemon like with X and Y, I'm gonna be really upset because this game has so much going for it, and if Pokemon did something like that to ruin it with only giving us like 70 new Pokemon, like what they did with X and Y, I feel it would be a giant letdown. But looking at this map, there are a couple different things to take note of. First off, in the bottom right, with the big, which I'm just gonna call the Big Island, we do notice that there is an ice cap. There is a town on top of that, which is really cool. Then if we look to the island to the north, we see almost like a little fountain kind of thing leading into the ocean. Then to the right of that, we see an active volcano. I mean, it's just really, really cool. And to the island on the far left, it looks like there's new land growing with that little black attachment, which I can only assume is new lava cooled from an active volcano underneath, which would be really cool if dive was a thing, so we could go ahead, dive, check it out, an active volcano underwater. Like, yeah, those are just some thoughts going around, some things I noticed when preparing for this video. And yeah, like, the Alola region looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I just pray that some of the concerns I brought up aren't going to be there in the final release of the game. But on top of that, we are going to be moving on to, let's see, we're going to be moving on to the official names of some of the people that we see. First off, we see Professor Kwee, I think is how you pronounce it, which is the guy on the right. We were introduced to him in the last trailer, him showing us the starters and everything. His name is Professor Kwee, and his assistant to the left is the girl. Her name is Lily, and in the trailer it says that she was his mysterious assistant, which is really, really strange for sure. And my only thoughts on that are Lily is, well, she's obviously, I don't think she's from the Alola region to start off with. She looks like she has a travel bag on her. She looks like she has the big giant sun hat, which a lot of tourists usually wear when they're going on vacation, especially the sunnier places of the world, at least for us. And it just looks like she's on like some sort of like maybe study trip with him. And it could be possible that she could be a bad guy. That's my big theory, is that Lily's gonna be working for the evil organization through this generation, or potentially just one of her family members is associated with it in some way or another, kind of like how Silver was with Giovanni and Heart Gold and Soul Silver when they added that extra stuff in. But yeah, to me, she looks like a tourist, and if she's mysterious, then she has to have some connection to the potential evil organization that we will be facing in the 7th generation. Also, we have Mau, which is our buddy to the far left that we were introduced to in the previous trailer as well. He seems like a Barry type of character slot, honestly. It seems just like he's just gonna be that happy-go-lucky kid. Nothing can really ruin his day. I just hope he just doesn't find us for 1 million Poké Dollars, because seriously, that wasn't even fun back in Generation 4, seriously. But it looks like he could be pretty serious of a rival. I think that even both Mau and Lily will be our rivals. It just seems that way to me, based off of how X and Y, Black and White, happened, where all 3 of the starters were chosen. I feel like it's going to be the same thing again, where we have 2 rivals going back and forth between, which I think would be really cool, in all honesty, because I feel like that did add extra dimension to 5th and 6th gen respectively, with having all 3 starters and 2 different rivals. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. As far as anything else, the biggest surprise, I feel, besides the reveal of the legendary types, was actually the Rotom Dex. it was revealed that with the new generation of Pokedex, a Rotom can enter your Pokedex, and you have a Rotom. I'm gonna call him the Rotom Dex. Because seriously, look at this. I think this is the coolest thing ever. It's absolutely incredible. Because if I should move my. I'm gonna quickly move my webcam here, but you can see this Rotom can talk to you guys. This Rotom can talk to us and interact with us, and from the information I've gathered, it can actually go through and give you different like flags on your map, and like apparently it's your Pokedex, it's your map, and on the map it shows you where you can go. It gives you advice of what you could do next, which I think is really, really cool, and it leads me to think that maybe this Pokemon game isn't going to be so linear as previous Pokemon games have been. I'm thinking that it could potentially be more open world. I don't want to really compare it to like Fallout or I don't know. That's the only thing I can really think of is like. It's like maybe side quests are gonna start to be a thing where it's really open world and we can do stuff like that. Maybe not to the degree of Fallout by any means, especially like Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, but it's so cool just to see that Nintendo is doing something completely new, something that I'm surprised that I haven't seen a lot of online. Because seriously, I'm on the internet all day. Seriously. I mean, that's my life, but I've never seen someone say, hey, what if a Rotom ever entered a Pokedex? I've never seen that before, and the fact that no one has really said anything about that is phenomenal. And also, is this going to be, like, a partner Pokemon that we can use in battle? Is it just a gimmick that we just carry through the game? Do we... Like, seriously, I want to know what's going on with this Rotom, because if it is, I want to say it's going to be an electric steel type, a new type of Rotom. I hope we can get a shiny one. I think that would be cool if you could put different Rotoms in and you enter a shiny Rotom in and you get a different... I think that would be so cool. I think that would be so cool, honestly. But there's a couple other things I want to go through when it comes to this Rotom Dex. Actually, before that, I kind of skipped over because I didn't organize this in order. But there's the Rotom Dex. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Another thing I noticed was... right here, we do see the two main male-female characters that we do get to choose, or we do get to play as. But if you notice, both of them are wearing the wristbands. We usually think of them associated with Mega Bracelets, but notice that they are not Mega Stones in the bracelets. They are the stones that we do see in the Japanese box arts and title arts of Pokemon Sun and Moon. They are those little, diamond-shaped gems. Looks like the male character has the yellow one, and the female, if you look very, very closely, there's a hint of blue, a lighter shade of blue, contrasting from the background, from the background she's in. But it looks like, it almost looks like Burst Evolution to me, like seriously, everyone's done theory videos on it. You know what it is. There's no way you can't know this theory already about Burst Evolution, like with Ash's Greninja, AZ's Floette, all that stuff. And to me, it looks like this Burst Evolution might have some important key role in this storyline to some degree. As far as how many Pokemon will actually get it, I actually hope and pray that the starters that we get have some sort of Burst Evolution somewhere in the game, or at least a previous set of starters, maybe Johto starters, maybe Sinnoh starters, something like that. I don't think Unova starters should really get that, since I don't know, Unova's kind of new, kind of not, it's in between. But I feel like if they did it with Johto starters, or the actual starters themselves, because it's something completely new, you know, like Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio, I feel like that would be something completely unexpected, is if we get, you know, final evolutions for these new starters, and then, hey, guess what? They can also go one step further. I feel that would be extremely cool to see if they did that. But it's definitely something to keep in the back of your head. But going back to the Rotom Dex, here we have a visual, like I said, of the Rotom Dex in action. Looks like this is the top screen, bottom screen from a 3DS, and like I said, it shows where we're at, the direction we're facing, and then a flag to where our next destination should be, which is why it led me to believe that maybe it's open world to some degree. The actual storyline of Pokemon Sun and Moon may not be as linear as we think. And also, let's get a good look at the Pokemon Center in the background. That is a bad looking, bad in a good way, Pokemon Center, for sure. It's really cool to see how, just in these little videos, as we're open to new parts of Alola, that just little things like that really excite you. And like I said before about the watercolor, like, art in the background, I mean, just this picture really helps sum it up right here. It just looks like it's just little brushes of watercolor, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And finally, this is kind of a theory I thought of the second I saw the trailer for Rotom Dex, but here we have the actual Rotom Dex popped up, the Rotom Pokedex popped up, and something interesting immediately caught my eye. Usually for the Alola region that we've seen, the symbol has been the rainbow, which we do see, but it hasn't always been red, orange, yellow. It's usually been red, yellow, blue, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but it hasn't been red, orange, and yellow. And below on the bottom screen, we see red, orange, and yellow. The yellow, no, I don't speak Japanese, I don't read Japanese. I'm willing to bet, well, I don't know. Now I'm looking at this, I don't know. To me, it almost looks like a cancel screen, but red, orange, yellow, I'm thinking that there might be, and because blue has been seen with the Alola region symbol, I'm thinking that Pokemon's going to do something similar to X and Y that they did with the Kalos X, how we had the Eastern Kalos, or like the, yeah, like the Mountain Kalos, what were they called? There was the Mountain Dex, there was the Eastern Dex, and I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. Why can I not remember? This is crazy. But you know what I mean. There were the 3 different Pokedexes and then the National Dex altogether. I see 2 empty slots right now. And for me personally, I'm thinking Pokemon's going to do something similar to that, where each of the main 4 islands that we do see will be represented with its own individual Pokedex, with the last slot being the National Dex once everything is completed, or once, you know, main storyline is completed. I see that as a very big possibility, because why would it be that we have 2 Pokedexes, or at least 2 different slots in this Pokedex menu showing the exact same thing? Or, actually, you know, it looks like the red might even be the National Dex itself, or the full Alola Dex, and each of the 4 slots underneath represent the individual islands. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing right there. I think I just solved it. I mean, let me know what you guys think about all this information. We were flooded with so much today, so many different things with the legendary with the legendary types, the abilities, moves, the region itself, the Rotom Dex, the Burst Evolution with the bracelet, the people. Like, what do you think about Lily? Like, seriously, this is just a big day for YouTube to explode with all types of Pokemon information. The internet itself is exploding with all this information. But I think I've gone on rambling long enough. I didn't expect this video to take over 20 minutes long. Holy cow, that's too long. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think about these potential theories and thoughts that you have that I've put out. Let me know. Give me counter arguments. Give me saying, yeah, this sounds like it could work. Seriously, let me know. But I'm gonna get up out of here. I didn't expect this video to take this long. My name is Jumother2, and I'll see you guys in the next video.